From the Mapleview Animal Hospital studios, this is the WHTC Morning News with Gary Stevens and Peg McNichol on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
And we welcome you back to the WHTC Morning News for this Tuesday, June the 9th. Tuesday mornings. At this time, it's a garden party with the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen, from DeBruyn Seed on Washington and Elm in downtown Zeeland. And in a Google Meet conversation this morning, we see that Jan is being watched by the careful eye of Mr. Butternut over her left shoulder in one of his, his ears are burning, or maybe he wants to just leave. He has just departed one of his thrones. There's many thrones at the DeBruyn Seed store.
Yes, he has been watching me quite carefully this morning. Not quite sure why. Maybe treat time is in time. I don't know.
Maybe there's been delays in treat time in his clock.
Yeah. He does have a different clock than mine. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. What question about Mr. Butternut? Then we'll move forward. You got Mr. Butternut as a stray, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you didn't see Mr. Butternut as a puppy, as a kitten, I should say.
No, we got him at he was probably about 6 or 7 months old. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So in other words, he wouldn't have been able to qualify for too cute.
Yeah. Yeah, he was getting into those teenage years, and not cute. No.
Yeah, I've seen some of those, I've seen, I saw one of the orange kitties, little kittens that, let's just say, was following the great footsteps of Mr. Butternut.
Oh my goodness.
In terms of being, a rascally one that could not, an independent mind of his own. I think it's a good way of putting it.
Orange cats have a tendency to be kind of independent, and they have a character to them. Yes,
that's true. We had an orange cat a few years ago, a girl named Ginger, and she was a little gingerly in that regard. But if you got a question for the Master Gardener, who is also a licensed, in terms of a licensed veterinarian, she can also answer that as well, even though she doesn't do that practice. She practices more about the plants and the birds, but the animals too as well. 395-1450, 395-1450. Let's talk about planting, okay?
Okay.
And we're not talking about planting Mr. Butternut somewhere. I mean, sometimes we think we need to plant him somewhere, give him the old sluggo.
Sometimes, yes.
But what to plant, too late to plant, and what we can plant again later. So what can we plant now, Jan?
What we can plant is green and yellow beans from seed right in the ground. No problem. You can do that up until the end of July and still get a harvest. They're a quick plant, quick to grow. So green and yellow beans. Cucumbers and pickles, again, quick. It's within 55 days. They're up, they're bearing. So again, you can plant those now, and again in a little while if you want more later on. Squash, pumpkins, melons, gourds, those need to go in the ground now. Pumpkins, maybe hold off a little bit yet. You don't want them orange in August. You want them orange in October. So don't plant them too soon. Unless you want pumpkins in August for some strange reason. But you can always hold off on that. But you can use beets, carrots, radishes, rutabaga. Those sorts of things can go in now. Corn can still go in. We still have enough time for that. Sunflowers, a lot of people doing that right now. Greens like collards, chard, and mustard can go in now. Obviously, your tomato and pepper plants and things like okra, cowpeas, they love hot summer sun, so they would love it in the ground right now. So there's a lot of stuff you can do.
But there are some that are, let's just say, it's too late to plant.
Yes, peas. Peas really like cool soil, cool temperature. Again, too late for that. Broccoli, too late. It will just get ready to harvest during the real hot summer, and it just goes to seed, and it's not worth it. Celery and leeks really needed to be planted last February inside to start them. So way too late, way too long of a growing season. Lettuce and spinach, again, like cool season. We're going into, what did you say today? 92 degrees?
Eggs, 93.
93. Not going to like it out there today. And again, asparagus roots, strawberry plants, rhubarb. If you start seeing this stuff at the farmer's market, it's too late to plant it. Just kind of a rule of thumb. And garlic, a little late for garlic.
But there are some that you can plant again later, and some of those that you mentioned are not good now, but
But
be
for
patient.
a fall crop, certainly you can do those. Peas, lettuce, and spinach and kale are all wonderful things to plant in the fall. They like that cooler weather, so figure on planting those in the fall. Broccoli, cauliflower, things like that, you can plant those the end of July, so then they're ready during the cool months. That works. And garlic, you can plant that again in the fall, and then you harvest it the next summer. So that's something that can be waited on. So sometimes, gardening isn't always about, I've got time now, so I'm going to do everything now. You got to know when to plant things so you get the right harvest. So you get a harvest.
And maybe having the calendar up so that you sort of put a box saying, okay, I'll plant, write down, say July, August 15th, I'll plant this. In September.
August 15th, I'm going to put more peas in, and I'm going to put lettuce and spinach in the end of August, and I'm going to put my broccoli in at the end of July. Put that on your calendar. Then you remember to do it.
Yep, and also keep an eye on not so much water tables, but making sure that these plants do get the water they need. And, don't rely on Mother Nature all the time for watering, because sometimes we get a deluge and other times it's drought.
Yeah, she can be kind of erratic on how she does it. So just make sure your plants get plenty of water in the garden. Best to water at the base of the plant, but if you can't, hey, that's life. Do what you have to do. Pots, if you got stuff in pots, like on your deck or your patio, that has to be watered at least once a day. They dry out extremely quickly. You got it on a tomato on your deck, you might have to water that like today when it's 90 degrees twice or maybe even 3 times.
And not wait for the monsoons to be coming in tonight,
Yes.
as predicted. But anyway, sometimes when you do plant things, other things that are not warranted come in and try to join the fun. And one of the topics you brought forward is grass in the asparagus patch. How do you deal with, not just grass in the asparagus patch, but also dealing with maybe some weeds that might have snuck in while you were so meticulous about keeping the soil pristine, but those weeds sort of came up?
Weeds just show up. It's part of gardening. So just kind of roll with it. But grass in the asparagus patch or in the strawberries, there actually is a product that you can spray on it that will kill the grass and will not hurt the asparagus or the strawberries or even your other crops, not around corn, because corn is a grass. So, but you can spray this around most of your vegetable plants and get rid of any grassy weeds. So that in and of itself is wonderful. It's called herbicide. It's a pack herbicide helper plus the grass getter. If you mix them both together, you'll really get a good 1-2 whammy on that grass. Other weeds, a hoe, just plain old fashioned hoe. Get out there, get in your garden and get some exercise. Or, once you get it all weeded, put preen down. It'll help prevent all of those weeds from germinating up in your garden. And believe me, the weeds will grow faster than your plants.
Yes, that's true.
And be more numerous. And remember, they're taking nutrients out of the soil that should go to your plants. So you need to get rid of the weeds. Preen's wonderful. You don't have to sit there and start pulling weeds all the time. Every time you go out, you pull more weeds. Every time I go outside, I'm pulling weeds somewhere. Even the neighbors. You always, oh gosh, what is this? And you pull it out. It's just one of those things I do, and most gardeners just have this. You stop and talk to a neighbor, and you're by their front lawn, and you're sitting there pulling weeds as you're talking. I do that all the time.
It's a reflex, it's reflective more than anything else. Or perhaps you see a little grass coming out from in between the cracks of the pavement too.
Yes, and you just start pulling at these things. It's just horrible. It's just one of those. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm really talking to you, but yeah, I really gotta get rid of this weed because it's driving me nuts. Yes.
And one final thing, unfortunately, with the forecast we have that Dennis shows in the Classics 4 will be coming in with stormy this afternoon, tonight, and then tomorrow as well. The window of opportunity for putting some weed killer may have passed for the little while. I think maybe last Thursday or Friday would have been a good time because we had about a 3 or 4 day stretch of warm weather and dry weather.
And dry weather. So yes, if you're going to put a weed killer down, we need dry weather afterwards. So, I know some of the bottles will say, oh, rainproof in 2 hours. Don't believe it. At least 24 hours, give it. The longer you can give it, the better.
Yeah, it will certainly help. Now, if you have a question about gardening, birds, or other things, the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen, will return a little after 10 o'clock this morning with the Yard and Garden Hour here on WHTC's Talk of the Town. Of course, Jan also joins us 11 o'clock Saturday mornings with the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. And Jan will be back here next Tuesday morning at this time for the Garden Party. It's presented by DeBruyn Seed on Washington and Elman, downtown Zeeland. Jan, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you in about an hour.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you very much. That is Jan Meeuwsen on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.